Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being part of the show. We're going to have a great show for you today. Welcome aboard, Paul Fleming from Powder Springs, Georgia. I got it right. Welcome, Lee Grant from Montgomery County, Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York, Eric Hayes from Kingwood, Atascocita. Of course, there's Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain. We also have AVQ, El Senor Rodnin from where again? Brooklyn, New York. Hey, Rodnin, I don't know how I missed that video that you sent me. That was an excellent video. I just got to take a look at it today. It deserves better coverage than me just rushing to get it in today. So I'm going to prepare that and do it justice because I think it needs to come with the appropriate narrative. I don't know how I missed it. I watch that program all the time and I missed that one. So like I said, I have the best crew on the planet. Thank you for pointing that out, Senor Radnin. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see what we got there. By the way, tomorrow I think I'm going to be doing recording all day. So tomorrow's show may not be live. I'm not sure yet. I know the morning show I'm sending into KPFT so that they can play it off of our server. Tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'll be live, but we have a show every day, no matter what. If I got to prepare it at midnight, I will. Anyhow, continuing with my welcome, hit that like button, as Paul Fleming is saying. Hit that like button if you are watching it on podcast. Go ahead and do everything that you need to do to make sure that the performance is there. Ask Egberto anything on Saturday. Yes, we will have our Ask Egberto everything on Saturday. And I'll put the link in there as well later on. Let's see what else we got here. Egberto, any chance have you seen what I did via Patreon? My brother, I thank you so kind. Folks, we have Patreon, and our good friend Michael Rudnin gave a very solid donation yesterday for us on Patreon, our Patreon. I want to thank you so kindly. I actually look in your email, sir, because I replied to a message on Patreon for you to actually see that I saw the message. But for those of you who don't know what the Patreon looks like, let me show you my Patreon page. But I want to get to a screen that has the different offers, which I don't see right now, which is always the way things turn out to be. It turns out to be the thing that you're trying to show, people don't see right away, etc., etc. But yeah, thank you so kindly. This is what our Patreon page looks like. Let me get it up on the screen. Let me get it up on the screen as soon as I can. Para ver. I'll do it a little bit later because I got to log out and log back in and all that good stuff, and I don't want to do that right now. Anyway, folks, I know a lot of you are feeling distressed, and there's good reason. We don't know what's going to happen in the election. Is Biden going to resign? If I were a betting person, I would have to say, I know a lot of you don't want to hear this. I know you don't, because you're fearful of what can happen. And I want to say this respectfully. I want to say this very respectfully. We have compromised. Let's see how to put this. We have compromised the democratic process because we did not allow the vibrant primary that we were supposed to have. And in the process, we're having what we have right now. Doesn't matter though. Like I said before, the path have been so laid for a democratic landslide that if we make the right choices in the next couple of weeks, if we show a good path in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be a landslide. It's going to be excitement. It's going to be people getting at least one candidate that they want, and I think it's going to be blissful. But that is only going to be if we don't waste this opportunity. If we don't waste this opportunity. By the way, folks, this is what our Patreon looks like. Let me put it on the thing. If you go to politicsdoneright.com/Patreon, you can select one of these options here to support us via our Patreon. Let me put that. There are two ways to get to Patreon. This is the exact way to get to Patreon right there. But you can also go to politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. And our great brother, Mr. Rudnin, did a whole year's worth of full independent media support, for which I thank him so kindly. We cannot do this without all of your support. And Mr. Radnin, you put your dinero, you put your money where your mouth is and what you believe in. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyway, folks, we got a lot to talk about. I had a great show that I really, really enjoyed this morning because we had quite a few MAGA callers. But as you'll see with one of the callers, when you only know narrative, you can't do specifics. And if we can get people here in a very civil manner, we will get quite a few things done. So where I want to start is I want to first start with a caller who thanked Politics Done Right because of the approach that we try to take in dealing with our brothers and sisters, whether on one side or the other. Okay, so let's I tell you what, before I get started there, I should read what you guys have put out there. Egberto, two for the screen. From Puck News via Open Lab show President Biden's leaked post-debate internal polling numbers down 2% across multiple swing states, while his unfavorable rating is underwater. Considering there are internal polling, the real numbers are probably even higher. But even then, this would not be enough to lose an election. Biden needs to choose his successor. All right, let's go ahead and put it there. Put it on the screen for Michael Rudnin, because I want us to be clear-eyed and not worried or scared about all these things that are happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the screen. And what Rudnin has shown here with the graphs is the decline that we've had in Biden since the debate, pre-debate and post-debate, where he actually lost. And there it is right there for everybody to see. And that is very, very dangerous. That is actually very dangerous because what you're seeing, what this graph shows is the decline when you look at the cumulative electoral votes, the decline from that. So let me read what Rudnin says. Egberto, two for the screen. The Puck News via Open Lab show President Biden's leaked post-debate internal polling numbers down 2% across multiple swing states, while his unfavorable rating is underwater. Considering these are internal polling, the real numbers are probably even higher, but even then would be enough to lose an election. Biden needs to choose his successor. We have to get some sort of an excitement in the fold. You're absolutely right. And it has to be done quickly. It has to be done soon. I see Biden. Okay, and I saw that you gave the article, this article that's out here. People are genuinely scared of the unknown, and we have to understand that. They are scared of the unknown, but also we have to realize that the known can also be called stasis rather, stasis. And in stasis, there's a good chance that we lose not only the presidency, but the House and the Senate, not because Trump can garner any more support, because Trump is at his limit. That's why Biden has only dropped 2 points since the debate, because there's nowhere else for people to go. But, so I mean, that's where we're at right now. The Daily Beast Watergate reporter Carl Bernstein, Biden has bad days. The legendary journalist said he's heard from sources very close to the president who say this that his poor debate performance last Thursday was not a rarity. As concerns about the president's age and fitness for office mount, Bernstein told CNN anchor Anderson Cooper that his sources are adamant that what we saw the other night, the Joe Biden we saw, was not a one off, and that there have been 15 to 20 occasions in the last year and a half, when the president has appeared somewhat as he did in that horror show that we witnessed. Bernstein explained without naming names that these identities of those who have expressed concern carries weight. What's so significant is the people that this is coming from, and also many people around the president are aware of such incidents, including some reporters, incidentally, who have witnessed some of them. These people who have supported him, loved him, campaigned for him, see him often, say that the last 6 months, particularly, there has been a marked incidence of cognitive decline and physical infirmity. Look, there are things that are looking us in the face, and I understand people think we can't make changes now. They feel stuck. But I'm gonna say something macabre that I'd like you all to consider. Our brother, the good man, Biden is a great guy. He's a good man. He did great for the progressive movement with the policies that a moderate neoliberal politician has done more for progressive values than other presidents calling themselves progressive. I love Biden. I really, really do. He brought down the poverty rates. He brought. I mean, he allowed. He went ahead and experimented. COVID gave us the opportunity to spend like wild horses. I don't know. That don't make sense. I know. And to try things out, and we were able to do so. And we have proven the success of the progressive policies without inflation. And people say, what do you mean by without inflation? Isn't there a lot of inflation? No, what we have is the corporate greed rate, because we have proven that we don't have shortages. And people say, but doesn't that mean that if people have a lot of money in their pocket, prices going to go up? Prices should only go up if there's not because there's a lot of money. Prices go up when there's a lot of money chasing too few goods. Don't mix the two up. When there's a lot of money, sufficient goods, and high prices, that's corporate greed. When there's a lot of money, not sufficient products and services, and high prices, that is inflation. We don't have inflation. We have corporate greed. There are two different mechanisms. And because we have been indoctrinated and lied to, we have yet to see that. It's a very important concept, the difference between inflation rate and corporate greed rate. What we are seeing is the corporate greed rate. Okay? All right, let's go ahead with the second item from Michael, which is called it's the Daily Beast Watergate Rip. Oh, I read that one already. Let's see. Let's continue here. According to Hayes, Democratic governors reportedly held a private meeting on Monday to discuss President Joe Biden's apparent feebleness or requesting a briefing from the president himself. I think that's a good thing. I think it's an important thing. All right, what else have we got here? I'm scrolling down now, folks. If I missed you, forgive me. I'm scrolling down. Lee Johnson, welcome aboard, Lee Johnson. Lee says, and I hope that the Dems flip the House, hold the Senate, and Biden win the Biden the presidency, flip the whole as many states, governorships, and school. Look, we're gonna do all of that. The pathway is there for taking over everything. But we have a problem at the top of the ticket that needs to be solved. We got a problem. And we can't wish this problem away. I know it's easy to think, oh, it's too hard. We can't wish this problem away. Michael says the stress right now is the Supreme Court last decision about presidential immunity and what an unhinged Trump would do with that unaccountable power. Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, Lizard Queen, welcome to Politics Done Right from Houston. Good afternoon, Lizard Queen. Michael Rollins says if the election goes Trump versus Biden, Trump wins. That's what images I wanted you to put up on the screen from the start of the show. I don't see that image. Where's that image? Because I would love to put that image on the screen. Let's see if I can find it. I would love to put that image on the screen, but I simply don't see it, and I'm going to try another one here. Maybe that's a poll. I don't see that image that you speak about. Let's see if it's there. I don't see that image about the thing. You may want to send it again by itself in the chat. All right, let's continue here. Bree says, Egberto, for the screen. Let's go for the screen. I'll put it on the screen right now. All right. July 4th, 1776. Independence Day. America choose to reject the rule of a king or dictator. I love that. That is a beautiful angle that they used to take that flag. I love that. For those of you that are watching it on the replay on the video, it's a beautiful picture right there. Those of you who are listening, sorry, or who are in the podcast, sorry, go check us out at YouTube, our YouTube channel. All right, Lee Johnson said, I hope the weekend and the next few weeks are better for the Dems and Biden campaign when we get our heads out of the sand and focus on getting Biden and the Dems across the finish line. Lee Johnson, I want to take your concerns very seriously. If you have access to a phone, I would love for you to call 281-823-7747. Again, that is 281-823-7747. I'd like you to, because it's not easy on the chat for what I think you need to express. So why don't you give us a call, 281-823-7747. I'd like to engage you in a conversation that I think would be good for us all. Let's see what else we got. The thing being the most of justices themselves doing that. Yes, correct. Lee Johnson also said, and I hope that the Dems, I read that already. I'm scrolling down, guys, so bear with me as I have a terrible headache. Lizard Queen, everyone is overreacting about him. We knew he was old and we still chose him. It's on us. You're correct. But what's not on us, Lizard Queen, is if you listen to what the former HUD director said, Joaquin Castro, I think it was Joaquin or his brother, he said many younger people wanted to run for the presidency because remember, Biden was supposed to be a placeholder because he could beat Trump. We wanted a younger person because Biden is 81. Listen to what Bernstein has to say about what's being said behind their back. I'm going to ask you all a serious question to consider. The man is 81. We see certain stumblings, etc. What happens if he falls out in October? We have to be honest. What happens if something happens in October? Look at Fauci, look at Senator Sanders, and look at President Biden. 3 octogenarians. Sanders and Fauci are older than Biden. Look at them side by side and look at their behavior. I love Biden, but I'm concerned, and I think everyone should too. And I think we are the ones, I think we have to be frank. We have to be frank. People stop listening to corporate media. Many are false and the rest giving us a choice. There is no choice now. We are afraid and upset, but stay positive. Wear blue tomorrow, not red. Why can anyone not be prepared, peppered, and tired? Look, I am not I am not scared, Bridge. Honestly, I'm not. I think, however, it's not. This here isn't a corporate media thing. The corporate media thing is that they hid this for too damn long. That's what the corporate media did. If you listen to what Bernstein said, he said there are a lot of corporate media, there are a lot of reporters who love the guy. That they did the same thing they did with Kennedy, the same thing they did with Roosevelt, the same thing they did with the other president that we had with issues. Americans were in the blind. I was in the blind. I heard things in the background, but it wasn't the appropriate things to say. Paul Fleming says, what do these five justices have in common? Amy Garrett Brandt, Gorsuch, Roberts, Alito, they were all nominated by Republican presidents who lost the popular vote. This is how democracy dies. We spoke about that a lot. Yes. Sydney, how much criticism of Biden is Russian propaganda mills? Now, look, two things can be true at the same time. Two things can be true at the same time. It can be true at the same time. Michael Redden, Lee, there are three core issues that weigh Biden down. The first is his obvious mental decline. The second is his failure to prevent the genocide in Gaza. And the third is a doubling of housing prices going unchecked. He doesn't have control over housing pricing, but he does have control over Gaza. And well, of course, he can't control his own health. But again, there are serious issues here, and I think we have to be honest about it. Lizard Queen says, the trolls are multiplying to do their part of 2025. Yeah, look, 2020, the Project 2025 is what we should be worried about. Okay? Billy Irwin, it started off inflation with shortages in the pandemic, and they kept prices high. Actually, I want to push back a little bit, Billy Allison Irwin. I took a picture while I was taking care of my daughter in DC in the middle of the pandemic. And I kept on taking prices at Costco of how the gas prices were going up. At the same time, there was an oversupply of gasoline and oversupply of petroleum. There was never a shortage of gasoline. But here's the thing, because all your produce and everything use trucks to get to the store and all of that, that inflated gasoline price permeated the entire supply chain. That wasn't true inflation. That was corporate greed. That was theft. Those gasoline prices should have never been where they were. And once you get gasoline and oil prices up, it permeates the entire economy. All right, let's see. Paul Fleming says, given who Republicans have chosen as your nominee, it's pretty ironic that it's Democrats who are worried about their choice of candidate. Well, actually, because of who they picked, they make it easy for us to make a change if necessary. Let me give you another fact here. If they had a Romney in there today, the decline that Biden saw in his poll numbers of 2%, and by the way, it's likely going to go down a bit more, would not be 2%. I can guarantee you that. All right, Sydney says, it was Parliament, not the king. Brit already had a limited monarchy. By the way, folks, the election tomorrow in Great Britain is going to be a progressive landslide. The same thing that should be happening here in November. Think about it. It's going to happen in Great Britain. We need to make it happen here. Hey, Bruce says, make him emeritus. Now nominate a new lead. Maybe Kamala. It has to be Kamala to keep all that $2 billion. It has to be Kamala. I mean, if you go around Kamala, when Kamala is the one that has the best polling against Trump without even being in the race, she's down 2 points on Trump. It has to be Kamala. I was looking into what's his name, the governor of California, but after doing a little bit more analysis, that wouldn't work. All right, continuing, we got E2247C, how you own rep voted to thank you for that link, how they voted for the cast. Anyway, continuing, Lizard Queen says, I would have supported a Castro brother. I would have too. Bree says, Egberto, New York Times, what happened to them? This is their latest, and the White House said they had no proof of this. Biden told key allies he's weighing whenever he should stay in the race. Again, the New York Times, so you have to remember, back in the Iraq days, they were the most they're the ones who created, allowed the platform for the Iraq War. I read you. I don't consider them that great a paper, but individuals within the paper, they have good folks within the paper itself, not the paper itself proper. Bruce Pollard said Reagan was losing it too. Yeah, but Reagan presented, first of all, Reagan was younger, and Reagan presented, as I recall, in the second year of his second administration, not in the last year of his first. Michael said, Egberto, Democrats could put limits on hedge funds and other corporate interest rates buying up the real estate. To do that, Radnin, they need to get rid of the filibuster and they need to get rid of a couple of corporate Democrats. I could name you a few. Sidney, Biden was a victim of Gish Gallop. It's very difficult to argue against that tsunami of BS. I don't know what Gish Gallop is. You may have to teach me something, Sidney. Egberto, Democrats should have promoted the hell out of this. New York Times, when the new legislation proposes take Wall Street out of the house market, a bill introduced in the House Senate would prevent hedge funds from owning single-family homes. I spoke about that a few weeks ago at KPFT, but I didn't know about this legislation. I hadn't seen this legislation. That would have been an excellent. I didn't know that we actually had the legislation written. Okay, let's see what else we got here. BDMCP said, Egberto, will you stop listening to the media? Yes, he is old, crazy times. Russian, Chinese, Iranian bots, New York Times, CNN, post fake news. Project 2025 getting a head start as it doesn't scot us. Divide and conquer in all its fury. Whoa, we are watching corporate media trying to get the Dems to self-destruct. And many Dems are participating. Yes, he is old. Don't give up. He can win if the meat. Look, Bridge, I love you to death. But I have been watching Biden, and I even watched Biden yesterday when he did the teleprompter speech at FEMA. I ask you to go look it up, please. He was at FEMA yesterday. One of the events he had yesterday was at FEMA. And let me tell you, please take a look at it. That's all I'm going to say. Please take a look at it. And remember, he had the teleprompter. This one here, Breach, we know that the media is no good. We know that. But this issue with Biden isn't the media. It isn't the media. It isn't the media in this one. Sydney, the Gish Gallop is a rhetorical technique that issues overwhelming your opponent with as many arguments as possible with no regards for accuracy, validity, or relevance of these arguments. Again, I played 2 days ago or yesterday, I don't remember which one, that Biden was not responsible for handling all the lies that Trump said, but there were 5 distinct things that Biden should have had a response to hit him hard. He speaks about employment. Biden should have had a 15-second response that says, that's a lie. Why do you lie so much? 30 seconds of the 2 minutes to just point out exactly what the reality is. And another 15 seconds to say, go to this site where I actually prove it. You are a liar, Donald. I mean, there was so much to do. And my contention is, even with this debate, if I felt deep in my heart, and I swear that I mean this, if I felt that was a one-off on Thursday, and that the next time he's out there without a teleprompter and somebody shouts something he's going to say, this is what it's supposed to be, this is what I did, XYZ, and he's able to really defend themselves. It's fine, but we need somebody who's shouting these things out. I mean, I am sorry. It's hard. But anyway, I got to start my videos now. Let's go to, this is a caller who called me this morning, and it made my day. It just tells us the work that we have to do. And she nailed it. I want you guys to listen to this. Let's go to Patty. Come on in, Patty.
Good morning.
Good morning, Patty. How you doing?
I am doing well, thank you. Better after yesterday. Listening to Heather Cox Richardson Monday tell us that we cannot count on the courts, we cannot count on media. It is up to we, the people, to affect.
Yes, ma'am.
We can't change history, only the future. So each one of us has 4 months to do what we do best. And I made it my assignment yesterday to go talk to candidates in my township. I'm in a Republican county, so I'm going to be represented in my township by Republicans. I went and met 3 of the candidates, and thank you for reminding me that when I was sharing truth, to do it with love. I respectfully met my candidates, told them I am voting based on character. I feel that a candidate with character, I can trust their judgment. They may not have the exact policies I have, but I can expect them to do what they believe is best. Had a wonderful meeting. Those strangers that I met, we shook hands and left as friends.
Thank you.
Thank you for reminding me that as I'm sharing truth, to do it with love. And I feel so much better today. I feel like they agreed with me on everything I said, which, okay, that's a wonderful thing. We found our common ground.
Wow. Patty, you just made my day. And let me just tell you, I was at a dealership 2 days ago, and this brother was a MAGA guy. You know, this guy, he's a good guy, Italian guy, and he was strong MAGA. And we are driving around in the car, and he said, we had a great time. And I told him, I told him a whole lot of things. He sat down there and he told me a few things. I sat down there and I thought, and we had a conversation. This is what they fear the most. Look up the Bacon Rebellion as well. This is what they fear the most. The populists getting together and actually seeing who the real culprits are. And we can only say that if we're not at each other's throat, but we actually, as you said, love on each other. So thank you so kindly, Patty. And you get 4 months, my dear friend. Keep up doing what you're doing.
Every day, as Tom Hartman says, despair is not an option. We have to go out and do our good work. Remember, we are the majority. We can change the future.
Amen. Thank you very much, Patty, for your call. You made my day. And, that is where we have to be. I have faith that if we get a good person on the top of our ticket, someone that people don't have to fear. And then, oh, no, I was at a dealership. No, buying an EV car. I wish. I can't afford that. My daughter totaled our car 3 weeks ago. She got sideswiped, hit. So we had to go ahead and get a replacement for her. No, that wasn't. I wish I could afford to get me an EV, and I mean a cheap EV. I would even get me a cheap EV, but right now, and a car is out of the. Me getting a car is completely out of the equation. But anyhow, so no, that's what it was, Erica. Ashley got hit about 3 weeks ago. I mean, completely totaled her car. Luckily, it was insured. But anyhow, here's the issue. We can't be scared. We can't be. I know, Bridge. I honestly know. I honestly know. We maybe should talk offline. Uh, Ink, yeah, Ink. We should talk offline so I can make you a bit more comfortable, Bridge, because this is very serious. This is very, very serious. And we need folks like you on board with what needs to happen. That's just the reality. We need people like you on board because you are a staunch progressive that has to get a hell of a lot more people engaged. Um, Anyway, Stylen Birkinkin says, I will not be talking to fascists. They are too far gone. They are evil. They are wrong. Rather than talk to them, we need to deport them. Maybe to Cuba. All right, let me tell you, everybody has their choice as far as how much they want, to bite their tongue for the better good. Okay. Um, I want you to listen to this caller. There are 3 mega callers I want you to listen to. And I'll tell you why it's important. Because I'll try to put it in the correct order because I need to play them in the right order so that you guys can see. Let's just say Trump, but could not name a thing. That's going to be the last one. That's going to be the second to last one. Let's see. Bear with me 1 second. This one here. Rename this shot. This one here is going to be listened and then explain your conviction. All right. This is the first one. All right. I gave a little soliloquy, a 4 minute soliloquy that I want to play at first. This is what I went and knocked Trump and MAGA and asked them, how could you do this? And I'll check. Let's listen to this and then we'll play the others in the right order. Check this out. Come on in, Bart.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. You do sound like James Earl Jones.
Oh my God. I must have to come and find you and give you a hug, brother.
You got a good voice. But
All right, that's the wrong one. I don't know how I got that to be there. That's the wrong one. I think that is the wrong one. Let me see what's the right one. This mega. Okay, I got it. I think I have the right order now. I think I have the right order. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I want to make sure we get it right. Okay, here is the first one. Okay. If you are a MAGA person that have a strong conviction for the thug in chief, the former thug in chief, that is Donald Trump. If you are one who follows this person, I want you all to think something through and ask yourself a few questions. There, for decades, whether a president is corrupt or not, he was not active. He tried not to be at least actively corrupt. He tried not to be to show himself or herself as corruption. I can only say himself because we have yet to have a woman president. But we at least he tried, right? And not only that, we looked at this person's life. Were they a good person? Were they not, etc.? What had to change within your education model that you can say, we know this guy raped a woman. That's what the judge said. We know he did quite a few bad things, including sexually assaulting women. We know that he created charities in which he stole the money for the charities to buy stuff for himself. We know that he created a false university to go and took millions of dollars from people. Each of those cases, by the way, he had to plead guilty. He had to pay millions of dollars in damages. He created product systems that, were all fraudulent. He left working class people who came and worked at his hotels unpaid. He cusses and he does all these things that me as a man with a daughter would never do around my daughter or want my daughter to know of me, because I do want people to say, I do want my daughter to look up to me as being her parent. And all of you out there that is supporting that for the presidency, all of you that are supporting that, ask yourself, if your daughter brought home a man with those discernible qualities, what would you think? Isn't one of the things that you also would have told your daughter, anybody who has the proclivity to do those things just won't treat you right and just won't treat anyone right, and isn't one that one can trust. So you put in your trust into somebody of that character. What makes you believe that somehow, one, they're going to do what they said, and again, they haven't done what they said they would do, that they would be truthful to you? Everything that he said on the debate scene, everything that he has said he has done is really false. The economy that many of you are telling yourself, well, the reason we're voting for him is at least the economy was good under him. That's wishful thinking and provably false. And we've done it several times, and you can find it all over. So I have to ask you, go within your mindset, and without prejudice, without all these other things, ask yourself,
how can you give somebody like this credence and try to refute anything that I have just said there with fact-based information, with with what you would do with any person that was not this guy, but that was within yourself. Ask yourself, how could you do that?
And yeah, you should ask yourself, how can you support that? Evangelicals, how can you support that? How can you support somebody so distant from everything that Jesus Christ represents? It's amazing. It's amazing the bending and pretzels that one must do to support a guy like this. You must ask yourself. So after that, I got a call from one of our devoted followers. We have a large percentage of MAGA who listens to our progressive station because we allow them to speak. And again, within bounds, in fact, one of our progressive callers got mad at me today for giving them too much latitude to speak. But you know what? I use them to actually inform soft MAGA. I give the soft MAGA an antidote to get the hell out of there. But anyway, I want you to listen to this caller, and then we'll take it to the next. Come on in, Joe.
Hey, good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
Hey, man. So I've been just kind of hanging back and listening to everybody on the radio here lately, and man, when you get going on a rant, I swear it's like a cross between Keith Olbermann and James Earl Jones, man. I'm it's like, whoa.
Well, if you tell me James Earl Jones, I'm going to say thank you because I revere that guy's voice and that guy's ability to speak. So thank you.
Yeah, you got it, man. We just got to work on that Keith Olbermann angle.
Okay, can I ask you a question before you start? Did I say anything incorrectly, Joe? And if that's the case, let's try to do that. Tell me, what did I say that was incorrect?
Well, so lots of things, right? So the observation is that, you and other people on the radio say that, I'm well informed. I get my news from a variety of sources, from MSNBC, ABC, Newsmax, all over. And when I hear that, it's really scary because they're not being informed at all by any of those sources.
Okay, Joe. Here's what just got to me. I don't want to interrupt you, but this is what got to me. No, Joe. I want to ask you a question, and then I want you to talk after this. Really, I asked you to please tell me what I said that was wrong, not where I got my info and all of that. So I gave a narrative that by the way, you gave me a good kudos for. Thank you. But tell me, what did I say that was incorrect specifically?
Well, you've got a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome, and you can't talk about anything else.
What did I say that was incorrect, sir? That's all I'm asking. What did I say that was incorrect?
Oh, let's see here. Let me think. There's been a lot. I should start taking notes, Egberto.
Yeah, I tell you what. Here's what I ask you to do, Joe. Think about it and call back. When yes. Okay, I tell you what. Yes.
You say all the time. You say, "Look, I don't like Trump. I don't like Biden, right? But I have a better chance of getting policies that I like enacted by Biden, right?" Even
yes, sir. You're correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So
who's a criminal?
Tell me, and I'll do a deep dive and look at the data, not the narrative, not the spin.
Okay, just tell me. Talk to me. Don't give me the spin. Talk to me.
Something that you like. Tell me something that you like that Biden did, and let me look at.
I'll tell you. I can tell you a lot of things that I love that Biden did, and let me enumerate that for you. One, okay, that during that he actually took more people out of poverty than any recent president with the policies he passed by looking at childcare and giving folks childcare, which was lost immediately afterwards when we lost the ability to, when we lost the house, we could no longer extend it. But and immediately the poverty rate went back up. That's the first thing I love about him because I love humanity. What else? You want me to give you another one?
I'm going to find some definition of poverty right? And then we're going to look at people.
We don't have to look at definitions of poverty. Poverty is starving and not having. I mean, it's not hard to figure that out. We don't need a science book to know what poverty is. So I'm saying those are one thing. But Joe, I tell you, I'm going to let you call back when you have something specific that I said was incorrect. I promise you that. You know you have a voice here, brother. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's
well, and you know what?
call me back.
Everything that you say is slanted, right? So
Call
let's
Joe.
work on a little bit of neutrality, man.
We'll talk. We'll talk. Thank you for calling, brothers. Now, it's interesting, right? Whenever you ask one of these guys to tell you specifically what you said that was wrong, they can't. And the reason why is you are fact based. They try to create a narrative and they shoot the talking points, but the talking points generally have nothing behind them. You can't, if you're standing on a lie, you cannot have anything behind it. So we had another MAGA person called and think he was going to be smart now. And he calls and he says, well, Joe couldn't answer the questions. Let me help Joe out. So he's going to get to me now with the actual things that I said that was false. So I want you guys to listen to that one now. Come on in, Bart.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. You do sound like James Earl Jones.
Oh,
Let me
my
help
God.
Joe.
I must have to come and find you and give you a hug, brother.
You got a good voice, but I'm going to help Joe out with some of the stuff that you said
Okay.
that was maybe not.
Let's do it one at a time, though. Let's do it one at a time. Go ahead.
Okay. There's no inflation.
I never said there's no inflation.
The border is closed.
I never said the border is closed.
There's no crime.
I never said there's no crime.
Well, you said crime was down really low.
Okay, let's do this, Bart. I'm so glad, for the audience that's listening to. Oh, no. I asked you for a few, not all of the lies that you thought I told, okay? So the lies that you said I told is that. No. Hey, come on, Bart. We're two of us talking here, brother. Look here. I'm glad that you called me out on those three because you just showed how people think, right? You are a very conservative brother, and that's great. Love you still. But I am a very progressive person. When I speak about inflation, crime, and the border, I want everybody in the audience to listen because Bart is not a bad guy at all. But when I speak about those issues, Bard has the impression that I am saying there's no inflation, that the borders are closed, and that there's no crime. He listening through his prism. That is what Bard heard from me speaking. None of what he said that I said is true. There is crime. What I did say is that under, and this is provable, under Mr. Trump, there was more crime than under Mr. Biden. I didn't say what the reasons were, whatever. I'm just made a statement of fact. When they go ahead and talk about open borders, I said, first of all, I love to have people coming over. I don't want illegal immigration, but I want policies passed. We got a conservative to write immigration policies in the guy from Oklahoma. I think he was from the senator, and the Trump told them not to pass this conservative bill because he wanted to bang Biden on open borders, which it's never true that the borders are open. We have people arresting people every day, so the borders are not open. But he's designed to think that when I talk about borders, it's about open borders. And when we talk about inflation, I never said there wasn't inflation. I said, let's look at who caused inflation. And it wasn't Biden who caused it. And I gave the exact reasons why we have inflation. All inflation is an increase in price from what it was before. And the reason it's there wasn't because solely of supply chain, but because of corporate greed. And we proved why based on looking at the price of stocks and how much profit corporations were making after raising their prices. So I want everybody to see that Bart just did us a great favor. He was going to come in after Joe and say I think Joe was more, Joe listens more than Bart, in my opinion. Why? Because Joe couldn't come up with anything that I said that was incorrect. And you know why? Because I didn't. Bard needed to find it, so he talked about what he heard. Continue, Bard.
Yeah, well, how about this? Why don't you get everyone to call their congressman and declare Biden under the 25th Amendment incapable to serve, and let's get Kamala in there. Why won't you do that? I guarantee.
Let me be honest with you, okay? I don't think you're going to get a lot of argument from me as far as how Biden looked on the debate. Is it the time for the 25th Amendment or anything like that? Absolutely not. Not at all. But I mean, I noticed you changed the subject, but that is okay. Bart, I got to go. But no, I don't think it's time to talk 25th Amendment with Biden at all. But we'll talk another day. Let's jump to it. You notice what happens? That is a standard thing that MAGA does, right? In other words, all right, you get beat on a subject, and since you beat on a subject, you drop it. And then you immediately jump over to a new subject. So you're constantly chasing after something else. Now, what I try to explain to people, and this is what I said Biden should have done in the debate as well, is he should immediately go ahead and knock Trump, just like I went ahead and knocked him in the very first piece of defining who Trump is. I mean, he had 2 minutes to do it. My segment there took less than that to say, look, let's be clear here. What we are looking at the other side of me is a rapist, a sexist, a xenophobe, a convicted felon, a person who stiffed people at a university that was never true, a person who stole monies from his own charity, a person who goes ahead and stiff the people who work for him at his hotels and not pay them, and then when they try to sue him, keep them locked up in court till their finances could no more. A person who talks about grabbing women. That's who I'm running against. How do I run against somebody like that, America? How can I run against somebody? I know you would never, now that you know all of these are factual, I know you would never vote for that person and put that person in office. I mean, there was so much for Brother Biden to, you know who would do that? Kamala Harris. You know how I know Kamala Harris would do that? Because Biden had a flaw back in the days of segregation. Yeah, Biden is a good guy now, but Biden was no different than any passive segregationist of his time. I can tell you stories, but we don't monopolize on that. It was different times and people change and we allow them to change. I was a homophobe. If my sister decided that who I love dearly, I'm talking about Bridge MCP, if she decided to hold that against me forever and ever, amen, I would be in deep caca. We change. But the idea is we want to make sure that we change. We make mistakes. We're victims of our own rearing. We're victims of our own cultures. We're victims of a lot. But when we learn, we change. That's what we do as human beings. You know, that is what we do as human beings. It should be an easy win. Billy Allison, what should be an easy win? Whoever, look, let me tell you something. We are going to win. I'm counting on Brother Biden to do the right thing. And I am not giving up on my landslide. I'm telling you that. I'm going to be preaching it on the radio in the mornings every day, and I'll be preaching it on this program every day. And in the videos and the articles that I write at my newsletter, I'll be preaching it every day. The pathway is there for us to win. May I help you? Buono Eric, how can I help you? Talk to me.
Who's this, Egberto?
Yeah, hold on. Let me go ahead and put you on the right speaker so we don't get an echo.
Okay.
Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see if I can get rid of that echo. All right, you're on. Talk to me.
Oh, this is live?
Yes, it's live. You're live. Go ahead.
I'm the guy who Facebooked you. You had a video about the racial bias for the appraiser a while ago. Do you recall that video?
Yes, I do.
I want to have a conversation with you if possible. I would like to call back in like a day or two. But the reason I'm calling you right now is I'm really hoping I could email you like one or two emails. So when I call you back, we can have a better conversation. I just want to send you some photos and some addresses to like make my point. I'm an appraiser. I've been an appraiser for 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know the appraiser being falsely accused, and I live 3.9 miles from the property.
Okay, Eric, I would love to entertain that discussion more than you know. Send me any info that you have at info@politicsdoneright.com. But let me tell you better, become prepared. And the reason I'm saying come prepared, and let me tell you why. But hold on, don't run.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Let me tell you why you need to come here prepared. Because here's a statement of fact. Whether this case is an offshoot or not, the fact of the matter is there is a black premium. And if you're a real estate person, someone who sells real estate, and you try to tell me that there isn't an issue with race and appraisals, I'm going to ask you, why are you not being honest? So go ahead and come back to me in a couple of days. Send me that information and we'll talk. Okay?
Can you give me the email address one more time?
info@politicsdoneright.com.
At politicsdoneright.com.
.com. Yes, sir. And you can and look, hey, listen. This program belongs to all of us, so you can call and do when you don't have anytime. All right?
Can I say one last thing to you real quick? I'm gonna call back on Friday, okay?
That's fine.
Now, here's the thing: there has not been one single proven case or self-admitted case of an appraiser, a real estate appraiser, committing racial bias. It's allegations. It's been settlements. It's been opinions. Not one. So if you can maybe try to find one single case where a jury found them guilty or a judge found him or her guilty, or a self-admitted case, try to have that ready for me, because you're not going to be able to have one. There is
you will never have sir, and that's the thing about racial bias. You will never have a case. There won't be a case. You have to the racism of today is different, right? Because you know who Lee Atwater is?
Who?
Lee Atwater. Let me just tell you a quick story. We got to leave now, but I want to leave you with a quick story. When they were discussing how to racialize America with regards to Democrats and Republicans, what Lee Atwater told the Republicans was the following: we can't use the N-word anymore. But what we can do is the things that are ancillary, we can. Meaning when we talk about welfare, when we talk about government giveaways, we racialize those things because that is the new form of calling these things out. But let me tell you better. The funny thing about it, why I try to bring everybody together, white, black, blue, Appalachia, everybody else, that's the person that I am. I want to bring us all together. Because what has screwed us all is because of they racialize things like welfare and all of that falsely. Who are the people that are suffering? The people that are living, my white brothers and sisters in Appalachia and the rural areas, they are suffering because they have a false reality of what our society is. But we'll talk another time, my brother Eric Buonomo.
Fair enough, sir. We'll talk soon, okay? I appreciate it, buddy.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Anyway, we are going to have a good talk here. What was his claim? His claim that there was no racial bias in real estate. In other words, if I'm selling my house and I take down all the things that make people who are potential buyers look at it, and people checking it out, it normally gets a higher appraisal if it doesn't look like it's an African American that lived in the house. These are tests that's been done all over the place. But anyhow, I got to get out of here. It's 4:02. Folks, please support the program. Please support the program. I don't have time to go into all the ways to support the program, but you can go ahead and support us at our Patreon, or go ahead and become a supporter at our link. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. Go to politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Patreon is still, let's see, there we go. politicsdoneright.com/patron, patron spelled Patreon, or please become a paid subscriber of our newsletter, and that is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. I just put that in the feed. I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right. Love you all. I am what? Out!
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willis. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willis. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.